Hi, I'm Billy Greer with the Jing Ying Institute of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, and today I'm here to talk to you about handling conflicts about your mask policies with ease. As business owners, we are faced with enforcing mask policies that not everyone may agree with. Our employees can be doubly at risk since a customer not wearing a mask may expose them to a higher risk of contracting COVID-19, but asking the customer to wear a mask may expose them to physical harm if the customer responds violently. Unfortunately, the threat of violence is serious. In New York, an 80-year-old man was killed when he got into a dispute with a 65-year-old who was not wearing a mask. The 65-year-old shoved the older man, who fell and hit his head, resulting in injuries that led to his death. Violence has also occurred in the opposite direction, with a UK bus rider kicking a woman in the face who was not wearing a mask. How do we avoid having a request to wear a mask turn into a violent encounter? Before we worry about how to de-escalate a situation, we need to make sure that we do not escalate it in the first place. This brings us to the first of our E's, early. Be early by starting before you even see the customer. Have clear signage near your entrance that clearly explains your policies in simple terms. No mask, no service. We require all customers to wear masks in our facility. You must also be early with your staff, making sure they understand your policy and giving them the tools to deal with customers. Make your policies clear to all employees and consider having employees with extra training at entrances to deal with customers. Expectations. Approach every encounter with a positive expectation. Expect the best, but also be prepared for the worst. If you expect a pleasant encounter, your mindset will influence your body language, facial expression, and tone of voice to help convey this. Assume the customer merely forgot to put on a mask and will be slightly embarrassed but glad that you reminded them. Empathy. If it turns into more than a quick reminder, continue your interaction from a position of empathy for the other person while maintaining your positive expectations. Remember to always treat people with dignity, even if you disagree with them. Listen to them. Sometimes people just need to vent. Violence often comes from frustration on both sides. A person frustrated at having people tell them to wear a mask is facing a person who is frustrated at having to tell people to wear a mask. Each person is often entrenched in their beliefs and tends to treat the other person as an idiot for their stance. If you do not wear a mask, you may be told you're inconsiderate, selfish, irrational, or uninformed. If you do wear a mask, you may be told you are blindly compliant, a mindless sheeple, irrational, or uninformed. When both sides feel the need to prove that they are right, you have a recipe for disaster. Violence often arises out of issues of social dominance. People may see the mask issue as one of control, and they do not want to allow someone to control them. They also do not want to be judged, criticized, or embarrassed. Remember that this is not really about who is right or who is wrong, and it's not a personality defect that causes a person to choose one side or the other. In fact, we would probably see similar violent reactions if regulations required mask wearers to remove their mask whenever they entered a store to be sure they could be identified. People do not like being told what to do and having their choices restricted. The rule breaker has most likely already imagined themselves being challenged. They expect you have judged them. They are geared up for a confrontation. And they are stressed over an encounter that has not even happened yet. They are expecting a battle and ready to defend their stance on the subject. Don't live up to those expectations. We need to avoid the appearance of trying to exert authority over the person or having the appearance of trying to control them or judge them. Engage the customer over the proper issue and with the correct goals. We do not want to engage in a competition over who is right or who is wrong. This is not the time or place for debates, and that is not the real issue that needs to be dealt with. The only issue is the policy that is not being followed. We want to engage in a way that we show empathy for the customer, but we also elicit empathy from them. Physically, we want to present ourselves as non-threatening. Having the feet about shoulder width apart, one foot just slightly in front of the other, knees slightly bent, gives us a relaxed, comfortable posture and allows us to feel more calm. And we want to approach the other customer with calmness. We should start with the expectation that we will have a pleasant encounter, and we should have a pleasant and sympathetic expression on our face. Smile on the inside and smile under the mask. Even with the mask on, there are micro expressions that the other person will subconsciously read, and these can help set the tone for the encounter. We want to breathe slowly and deeply so we remain feeling calm. When you approach the masked customer, introduce yourself. De-escalation tactics often say to ask the other person's name to establish a personal connection, but for a person preset on a confrontation, this may be seen as another challenge, an attempt to record names of offenders. Instead, just approach them in a friendly manner and say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Billy, one of the associates of Jing Ying Institute. I'm not sure if you noticed our sign out front, but I just wanted to remind you that all customers are now required to wear masks when they enter the building. I know this can be an inconvenience, but we can be fined or shut down for not following the regulations." We want to assume it was just an oversight, and they of course want to follow the policy. Best case scenario is that the person just forgot to put on their mask and may be slightly embarrassed, but will thank you for the reminder. This also helps to set them up to empathize with your situation. Get them on your side and help them understand their cooperation helps keep you out of trouble. "You don't want me to get in trouble, do you?" Or, "I'm sure you don't want me to get fired." Or, "You don't want to see us have to get shut down, do you?" Encourage. This idea of cooperation rather than conflict is important. If the customer is refusing your request to wear a mask, don't make demands. Instead, listen to what they say and offer friendly encouragement. "I know this whole mask thing is such a pain." Let them know they are being heard. Help them save face and give them some options. Educate and enhance. Educate the customer about the requirements and enhance their experience with options. Masks have become less expensive, and I have seen disposables available for 10 to 15 cents each. Consider having a supply to offer your customers free or at a nominal cost. Give them choices, not commands. "Would you like one of our masks, or do you have one of your own?" Remind them of the consequences for you. "I really understand what you're saying, but I still can't let you in the store without a mask. That's our store policy, and I can be fired if I don't follow it." Or, "I'm sure you must appreciate what our business has to offer, and we thank you for your support. So please understand that if we don't adhere to the regulations, we can get fined and shut down. Please help us to stay open and help our other customers to feel safe. What can we do to make this work?" Enhanced options are good for everyone, but especially those who may claim an ADA exemption. A customer may tell you that "I have an existing health condition, and because of that, I can't wear a mask, and you can't require me to wear a mask in your store." So, don't argue with them or demand proof. It doesn't matter if they have a real condition or if they think they've just found a loophole, and it's not your job to find out. Treat them with respect and take their claim at face value. You can respond with, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your condition. You'll be happy to know that we support the ADA and we work hard to meet the needs of people with disabilities. We have a policy in place to meet the ADA requirement that we provide reasonable accommodations, and I'm happy to tell you about those accommodations." The accommodations can be as simple as offering to shop for them if they'll provide you with a list, and tell them that you will bring the items out to their car for them. If you have a website or a phone app that is set up for online purchases, let them know they can use it to shop and you will bring the purchases out to them. And finally, ensure. Take the steps needed to ensure your safety. No person, procedure, or policy can guarantee that a conflict will end peacefully. Our ultimate goal is not to force a customer to wear a mask, but to ensure the safety of employees and patrons. We don't want people to be assaulted or hurt. To ensure your safety and that of others, learn to recognize these signs of impending violence. Be wary when the person starts closing the gap between you. This may occur slowly, a step or two at a time, or the person can rush towards you. Be wary when the person changes their stance. Standing if you had been sitting, or standing taller to tower over you or appear more intimidating. Be wary of sudden changes in body language, protruding their chest, putting arms out to the side, fidgeting, pacing, clenching fists, clenching and unclenching their jaws, removing a jacket, jewelry, watch, or adjusting rings or cuffs on their shirts. Be wary of sudden changes in tone, yelling, name-calling, bullying, cussing, threatening, becoming repetitive, breaking social norms. You should model the behavior you want from the customer. Appear calm and self-assured. Avoid excessive gesturing, fidgeting, weight shifting, or pacing. Stay at the same level as them. If they are standing, you should stand. If you are seated while they stand, it can seem submissive, and you are at a disadvantage if they move to attack you. If they are seated, you should also sit. If you remain standing, it can be seen as being domineering and threatening. If seats are available, encourage the person to sit as you discuss the issue. This helps them relax and makes it more difficult for them to attack suddenly. Sitting or standing, maintain a distance of 2 body lengths, 10 to 12 feet, for safety. This gives you more time to react if the other person attacks. You also should be aware of your surroundings, tables, chairs, objects that can be used as weapons, and exits. Do not stand between the person and an exit. We want to make it as easy as possible for them to leave, so we don't want them feeling trapped. Be sure you also have an escape route if they do attack. Also, be aware that despite your best efforts, a situation can still turn violent. This is not your fault. It may be beyond your control. Once you feel violence is imminent or you feel unsafe for any reason, leave. Do not put yourself in a position to be harmed. Get security, get your boss, or call 911. Depending on your locality, some authorities have made it clear that they will not send officers out for mask violations. While the issue may have started off as one of non-compliance with a mask policy, that is not what you're dealing with now. You're dealing with an aggressive and potentially violent person that you need escorted off your premises, and that is exactly what you need to tell the authorities. With a little bit of training, you can turn potential confrontations over mask policies into conversations, and you can learn how to handle conflicts with ease. Thank you.